Chapter 22. Outside, we don't say a word. We hear the wail of our ambulance. Pulga looks around, his eyes intense and glistening, as he tries to figure out where we are and where we need to go. I know a part of him wants to cry. I know his heart is aching for the girl and her grandfather. Mine is too. We've come so far. Her scream was so primal, so scared, even with the rush of voices of all those who hurried to help, voices yelling for someone to start CPR, yelling for someone to call an ambulance, for everyone else to stand back. Even with all those noises, it's her scream. And the way is rebirthed through that shelter that I'll always remember. I feel the scream inside me too. I think it's this way, Pulga says. The words bring me out from inside my head. He's reading his notes, looking down at the notepad I saw him scribbling in her earlier. As he started at the maps on the wall in the shelter, up ahead there are more people who have left the shelter and are headed in the same direction, and more still who appear on the street, all of us looking lost. We walk faster, and a tangy sour smell fills the air, mixed with the smell of roasting meat. The ambulance wails louder, its lights flashing in the early dusk, until it wails past us with some creature in pain, like the girl swimming back at the shelter. Maybe it's still her. I hear her. I grip the straps of my backpack tighter. We turn down a street. Muchachos, a woman with a small child heading down the same road as us gestures, trying to get our attention. Is this the way to the highway? She asks. She has a backpack. Her little girl has one too, with a unicorn stuffed animal peeking its head out of the zipper. Pulga glances in the woman's direction and gives just a quick nod. Chico looks at the little girl and gives her a smile and a little wave. She waves back shyly. I think so, I tell her. Oh God, oh good, she says, sighing in relief. I wasn't sure, but I saw a lot of people with backpacks walking this way too. This way, so she struggles to walk fast and talk to keep pace with us, but Pulga has sped up and is walking so fast now it's hard for me and Chico to keep up. Within minutes there's a good amount of distance between us and the woman. I look back and see a look of defeat on her face as she pulls her little girl along with her. Chico looks at me and then at Pulga. Why'd you do that? Chico mumbles. Do what? Pulga says, scratching his head and looking irritated. Leaving them behind like that? She was just asking. And I answered, he says. Yeah, but what? Pulga says, moving even faster now, keeping his gaze. He doesn't bother to look back at even me or Chico as we struggle to keep up. We have to jog to his pace. You want them to ride the bus with us too? You want to know what happens to that little girl, Chico? To her mother? You want to be around when one of them drops dead like the old man back there? Or worse? We don't say anything, and we pretend not to notice when Pulga wipes his eyes quickly. Pulga's words hit me like little knives. He's right, I tell Chico. Chico looks at me, then shakes his head. We shouldn't be like that, though. I know, I tell Chico. He's right. The streets smell like urine, the stickiness of the night, and the blood still draining from my body make me feel I haven't showered in days. My jacket is bulky and hot, but I keep it on. I think of the old man back at the shelter. He'd be behind me in the line of the shower, so I've overheard when Arlena gave him a pair of sneakers to replace the ones that had fallen apart on his journey from Honduras. We've come so far. He smiled and thanked her and showed me the shoes proudly. These will take me all the way to Los Destinados, he said, looking at the sneakers like they were magical. He and his granddaughter were headed out tonight, just like us. He showered and got in ready for death. I look down at my own sneakers, dirty and old. I wonder if they will take me all the way to the States, or if I'll end up like the old man, dead before he even set foot out the door. And his granddaughter. Will that happen to her? Will she be sent back home? Back to whatever it was she was so desperate to escape? I force myself to stop running all those scenarios in my head, to leave the thought of them behind, no matter how terrible it makes me feel. Just keep walking. Soon the crunching of gravel underfoot gives me to a louder rushing sound. We're near a highway, I think. Cars are passing us by, some beeping and some people shouting out to us every now and then. Why are they yelling at us like that? As Pulga. His eyes are looking everywhere. Some don't want us here, Pulga says, shrugging. We are We are to Mexico, what Mexico is to the States. We walk along the stretch of road for a while, before finally one of the minibuses pulls up right ahead. Pulga starts running and we follow. He has the money ready for the three of us, separated from the drive for the rest. He has the money ready for the three of us, separated from the rest of his money this time. He takes the seat right behind the driver, and we squeeze in next to him. More people get in. Rapito urges the driver. The line of the people moves faster, paying the fare and trying to settle down quickly. The van takes off. Before everyone has even found a seat, we stare at the road, cars passing us by, many buses and fans, people still on the side of the road walking, trying to catch a ride. Pardon, how long before the first checkpoint? Pulgas asks. Depends, the driver says. They move around. Sometimes you only ride 10 minutes and suddenly a checkpoint has popped up. The driver keeps his eyes on the road, has a phone on his dashboard. Let us know, man, as soon as you see a checkpoint. Relax, relax, the driver tells Pulga. It's not good for you if you get caught and busted, but it's not good for me either. I need to make a living. Don't worry, I'll let you know. He turns on Norte Musique and plays it loudly, but Pulga sits upright in his seat, looking out the front window like an eagle. I keep my eyes on the side of the road, dark and thick with trees. A flash of girl with that unicorn in her backpack punches into my mind, and I imagine her walking tonight in all that thick darkness. A lump forms in my throat, a heaviness in my chest. She looked tired, and her eyes seemed sad even as her mouth smiled. I'm glad Pulga wouldn't let us wait up. I'm glad she's not in this minibus. I don't want to know her fate. Up ahead there are red tailgates as traffic slows down. My body tenses up. The loud music feels strange, the horns and accordion blasting in the minibus as we sit here in the springs ready to burst. I look at the time lit up, and the dashboard as minutes tick by. Too much time passes while we're stuck unmoving. Suddenly the driver's phone flashes. He looks down and immediately makes his way to the far right of the lane of the highway. A car horn blares. This is it. Get out. Que Dios los guarde. The driver yells as he turns down the music. Get out, get out. The door opens and there's a rush of everyone gathers their things, calls to one another to hurry, and we spill on the side of the highway. I catch a glimpse of a woman running with a rosary in her hands before she gets lost in the trees and heavy bushes. Chico, Pequena, Pulga calls. I grab Chico's hand and I pull him along, trying not to lose sight of Pulga as he makes his way into the forest. He turns searching for us, but keeps running toward the field. We're here, I catch up, and grab onto his shirt. We run, grass crunching under our feet, stumbling over tree roots, not stopping even as branches smack our faces and bushes and leaves brush against our clothes. My abdomen is clenching. My heart is pounding. My backpack swings from side to side with the heaviness of the water bottles we took from the shelter. Chico clutches my sweaty hand, harder as it begins to slip from his grip. Don't worry, Chiquito, I manage to say. I won't leave you. But these little sounds escape him. Terrible sounds like those of a hurt or scared animal. And it puts me even more on edge. I hold his hand tighter. Don't worry, I say, as we dodge the trees. Pulga is ahead of us, and he runs so fast, like a mountain goat, over the uneven terrain. It's impossible to keep up with him as he yells, hurry, hurry. But we run fast under the darkness, into that darkness, into someone who will want to rob us, or authorities, who are already waiting out there, knowing that driver drop migrants off before checkpoints, or worse, not narcos who will kidnap and hold us until they get money from our families. My insides feel like they will fall out of me at any moment with each hard thump on my feet on the ground. For a terrible moment, I think, my body can't do this right now. But then I remember what my body has already done, what it has been through, what it will go through if I don't run. Fear and adrenaline rushes through me, so I run. I keep going until finally Pulga slows down. We ease up the pace until we are jogging. Stop, Chico says. Stop just for a minute. We slow down to a stop, finally, and Chico falls to the ground. We gotta keep moving, Pulga manages, but he's bent over now, trying to catch his breath. I fall next to Chico, and we stay quiet for a minute. Chico starts coughing, trying to catch his breath, And then his coughing turns to crying. My body is buzzing, my scalp is itching. I feel like I made up a million buzzing bees, and tears are stinging my eyes. It's okay, Pulga. It's okay, Pulga whispers. It's just because it's the first jump, that's all. It'll get easier. But his voice is high, it's unnatural, it's scared. Yeah, Chico whimpers. Yeah, we'll be okay, I say, putting my arm around Chico. And when we finally are and when we are finally able to catch our breath and swallow our fears, we stand up again. My legs tremble. I don't know if from fear or adrenaline. Okay, okay, Polka says, taking deep breaths. Listen, we're going to walk out of here. For about 2 hours, we walk out and up northeast. Imagine an arc in your mind. That will take us around the checkpoint. That's what we're doing. There are a lot of trees and cover here, but we'll walk that along, just to be safe. I think that will be enough. Our feet crunch through the brush, and my eyes try to adjust to that infinite darkness. The moon seems non-existent, though I catch the faintest silver of it through the trees every few minutes, out and up for an hour, then back toward the highway for another. Bulga says as we walk. I hold out my hand and grab onto his backpack because I can hardly see him. I take Chico's hand and have him hold onto my backpack. We have to be quiet, though, Bulga whispers again. Then we'll catch another minibus, see how far it takes us, before we have to run out like this again, Chico says. Yeah, Pulga answers. How many times, I ask. I can't tell if this slickness between my legs is blood or sweat or my insides. I tell myself I layered enough pads. Everything will be okay. My body can do this. I hope I'm right. I don't know, Pulga says. However many checkpoints there are. His voice is so quiet. And then we all walk in silence, holding to one another. The night is quiet too. The night is quiet too, disturbed only by the sound of our rustling, and every now and then the rustle of something farther away. Maybe just an animal, or maybe others who were in the van, or maybe those who were already out here before we came. We don't see anyone else, but we feel the fear, palpable in the air, as if the trees and bushes themselves have absorbed the weight of the journey from everyone who has even roamed through. And with each step it feels like we're deeper and deeper into some kind of dark maze, some labyrinth or trap that we might never find our way out of.